Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here for Never Ever Met. We on season 1 and we are now on episode 7, y'all. Can you believe it? Episode 7. And let me tell you, the mess just keeps coming. Messy Diamond cannot stay out of it. Her name don't need to be called Diamond. Messy Diamond. If Diamond was a real diamond, she definitely ain't no flawless diamond. As Aaron said, she ain't got no imperfections. Yes, she does. She ain't even a VVS1. She down there in the SI3 category. She definitely in the S category because Diamond is messy. Messy. And Josh is dirty. Dirty. Which brings me to my backdrop. Where are we? We at a seedy motel, a cheap motel, just like the signs say, where you can have sex with complete strangers. Because I knew Josh was dirty when he would want to be up in that seedy motel every boom room every single night. I told you that then that his standards for sex were low. I knew then when he told us he had a baby with a roommate, his standards for sex were low. So we're going to get into what he talked about because I'm going to want to know from all of you, who do you believe? Do you believe Messy Diamond or do you believe Dirty Josh? I'm going to tell you what I think. But that boom room needs to be closed permanently because ain't nobody going to it. Diamond and Aaron, they can suck toes in the regular house. They don't need to go to the boom room. Who else ain't going there? We know Jody and Aaron ain't going there because she just told us she didn't even like the kiss. This girl. They need to just go on home. If they sent Sienna and Brandon home because Brandon said he didn't see this going anywhere, they need to go ahead and send Jody and Aaron home because Jody just said she feels nothing. So they could go on and go home because I'm tired of looking at poor Aaron, little Aaron, get his heart broken. Tender Aaron. Y'all said that, no, he may not be gay. He may not be bi. That's fine. I'll call him Tender. I'm fine calling him Tender. Tender Aaron. Little Tender Aaron. That's what I'll call him. Little Tender Aaron. But I see he had both of his earrings back in this week. Told y'all. This week, little Aaron put both those earrings back in his ear after his daddy left. Did y'all see my video from the other day that I did about the salsa lessons that Sandia's given Aaron? And I figured out that, dang, that father was trying to upstage little Tender Aaron. Even though Aaron was trying to take his earring out and seem masculine to his daddy was trying to steal his girl. That's some dirty work too. But anyway, a little Tender Aaron got both earrings back in. His kisses ain't good. Jody ain't feeling nothing. And they can go ahead and go home. Because even this week, Chris spoke up and said, she treating you bad, man. She treating you bad. But yet in the same voice, Chris says, Jody's one of my favorite people in the house. I hate to keep saying I told you so. The only reason Chris likes Jody is because Jody backs him up on whatever he says. That's it. He don't like nothing else about Jody. Her personality, he called her mean, the way she treats people, he doesn't like it. The only thing he likes about Jody is that Jody co-signs on everything he does, and what he wants that to be is a message to Sandia. This is what you need to do. You need to be like Jody, co-sign on everything I do and like everything I do. But you know what? As it's turning out, Chris ain't the worst one on the show no more. His friend came in and took that crown away from him, and everybody else on the show is taking the crown away from him. But who else ain't making it to the boom room? Millie and Gregg ain't making it to the boom room. Just like Gregg said this week, every night, not every week, every night there's something new, there's something different of why Millie's upset. This tells you of why they never met and they're in the same city of LA. Because Millie didn't ever want to meet Gregg. She probably always had an excuse. Just like Millie has an excuse every single week of why she's mad at Gregg. Every single week. Oh, you don't know my birthday, but you want to be in the bed with me. Every single week. Am I saying Gregg is right for not knowing her birthday? No, but it really doesn't matter because what Millie does is Millie picks out anything. This is why I don't trust you. This is why I don't trust you. She comes up with an excuse every day of why she doesn't trust this man and why she'll never make it to the boom boom room. And that's okay. But she never really even wanted to meet the man. She was perfectly comfortable with an online relationship. Gregg said he in the doghouse. Yep, he's in the doghouse every single night. Every single night he does something wrong. And this little game they play, the newlywed game, the NewlyMet Game. I don't know what they want to call it because they ain't wedded. The NewlyMet Game, to see how much they know about each other. They realize they don't know. Millie ain't going to no boom boom room with Gregg. And even when she does, she going to do the missionary position. Little effort. We saw when they did that Kama Sutra, the position she wanted on top where she didn't have to do nothing. Lashandra called her out then and said, you picked the position where you don't have to do nothing. Lasandra called her out back then. And now when she got to say what her favorite position is, it's the missionary position. She still don't have to do nothing. And every day she reminds Gregg, I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not going to do nothing. But instead of just saying she don't want to do nothing, she keeps telling Gregg, you do this wrong, you do this wrong, you do this wrong. But then she wraps it all in because, I have trauma and I have boundaries. But then this week, Gregg talked about his own trauma and he kind of took the stage away from her and she was mad because he took an excuse away from her. She's like, now I got to come up with a new one. I'm going to go ahead to this NewlyMet Game and this going to now be my excuse because I can't use the excuse no more of the trauma because I had some sexual abuse. That's why I don't want to move forward and do nothing more. I don't want to meet you. I don't want to do too much. Millie got 1,001 reasons, 1,001, and she going to keep coming up with them. So yeah, Millie and Gregg, they never going to make it to the boom boom room. And Chris and Sandia, I don't know. They may make it towards the end. I could see them making it towards the end because Chris had told us that he and Sandia had very good sexting and sexual conversation on the phone. He said that Sandia's sexual conversation was on point. So I know Diamond likes to walk around and say she's a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets. But to be honest with you, that's who I think Sandia is. I think Sandia is a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets. That's what I think she is. And Chris, I think Chris knows it too. That's why he's not too pressed like his friend is saying, hey, I want you to go ahead and smash right away. We're going to talk about that friend too. But like I said, we at the Seedy Motel where you can have sex with strangers you don't even know. And put your bug spray on because more than likely there's some bed bugs up in here. There's some bed bugs up in here. And I want to know of this story that Messy Diamond has told, who do y'all believe? Who do y'all believe? Do you believe Messy Diamond? Do you believe Bad BBL Alexis? Or do you believe Dirty Josh? I'll tell you what I think. I think it's a combination of all the stories. I don't think any one person is telling the whole story. But do I believe all that conversation between Josh and Alexis happened? I absolutely believe it happened. In fact, Josh pretty much admitted the conversation happened. But the part that I knew when Josh was a bit dirty was when Josh said, if I wanted to F her, I could. I said, there it is right there. That means the conversation happened. That means you were involved in the conversation. The other part when I knew he was dirty, when he said that supposedly it was Alexis who talked about a threesome. And Josh said that his response was, no, my girl Shay ain't into that. He didn't say he wasn't into it. He didn't say that he wasn't down for it. What he said was, no, Shay won't go for that. So I'm going to convict Dirty Josh on a couple of things. One is you engaged in the conversation. That right alone is a violation. It's a violation to even be having this kind of inappropriate conversation with bad BBL Alexis in the house. Okay. The bad BBL conversation with Alexis in the house was bad. Then not to tell Shay of the conversation. And then to have some type of conversation around threesomes, would Shay want to do it, all this, and you didn't shut her down? He's dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty. Just like he was willing to go up in that nasty boo-boo room every single night. Just like he talks about his penis accidentally went in the vajayjay of his roommate and he had a baby. All this. Dirty, dirty Josh, and Shay needs to let him go. She said the last time they had the little kerfuffle and he had the baby, they didn't talk for 2 years. And then he called her up later with a "Hey, big head" call. "Hey, big head, what you doing?" And Shay was available. Shay was available after 2 years. And so he's like, "Yep, can I slide back on in here now?" Because now probably he's broken up with the woman he had their baby with. Now he's can go out here and philander again. Shay need to go on home too. At this time, go ahead, Jody and Aaron, go on home. And Shay, pack your bags. Like Shay said, I need to call my mama. Call your mama. Call your mama. And your mama's going to say, pack your bags, little girl. Pack your bags, because he's dirty. Now, do I believe the part about Josh wanted to go out in the hallway and have sex when there were no cameras? No. But I do believe Josh wanted to go out in the hallway and have the conversation. I don't think Josh is so reckless he would have tried to have sex with Alexis in a hallway of a bunch of rooms when at any point in time people can walk out there. No, but I do think he wanted to go out there and have more conversation about it, explore it, talk about it, flirt, all that stuff. Yeah, I do believe it. That's why I believe he's dirty. And the only reason he didn't go through with it is because he knows Shay wouldn't be with it. Like he said, if I wanted to F her, I could, which means you got the green light, Josh, which means you talked about it, which means you went in, which means you did all that. Shay, it means that bad BBL Alexis was down with it. You was down with it. The only person who you knew wasn't going to be down with it was going to be Shay. But you went out in that hallway to broker the deal. You went out in the hallway to figure out how could this happen? How could we make this happen? And the negotiations broke down because what you realized was Shay wouldn't want to go along with it. That's what you went out there in the hallway to do. I believe it. I believe bad BBL Alexis. I believe Josh when he said I could have effed her if I wanted to, because I think she would have, bad BBL Alexis probably would have done it too. We see who she showed up to this show with. We see it all. I don't have such a high opinion of bad BBL Alexis. I don't. And I don't have a high opinion of Josh. I knew that too. Listen, Shay. Let it go. Girl, let it go. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. This is your third time, Shay. This is the third time. This ain't the second time. It's the third time. But Messy Diamond, I tell you, she can't stay out of the mess. Why doesn't she and Aaron go get a pedicure and a manicure or something? That way he can suck her toes and they get their nails painted together. Why don't they just go get a nail kit, sit in the kitchen and paint their nose and toes together and stay out of everybody's business? Diamond can't wait to get into some mess. She can't wait. These two, can you imagine Diamond and Aaron as a real couple day in, day out together? You know what, to be honest with you, just like I said, I don't know if any of you guys watched Summer House Martha's Vineyard with me. I said that Amir and that girlfriend Natalie were perfect for each other because they really are on the same page. In a lot of ways, that's Diamond and Aaron. Diamond and Aaron are so messy together that maybe they make a good couple. They can go around and stir up a lot of drama, a lot of mess. And the only criteria that Diamond has for Aaron is no matter what mess I stir up, no matter what I do, I need you to back me up. That's the only rule they got to have in their relationship, because none of them are trying to stop each other from starting mess. You don't hear Aaron telling Diamond stay out of it. You don't hear Diamond telling Aaron stay out of mess. No, they actually encourage each other. All they really need to do is say, listen, both of us together, we just messy people. We like to go around and stir up mess. So all we really require of each other is that we back each other up. So Diamond, you can't be taking your sister's side. And Aaron, you can't be taking a friend's side or anyone else's side. As long as we back up each other in all of our mess, Diamond and Aaron will be just fine. Just fine. They really are on the same exact page with the SI3 Diamond. SI3, I know whatever Diamond that Aaron is going to propose to Diamond with, it ain't going to be flawless. It ain't going to be a VVS Diamond. It's going to be a SI3 Diamond. In fact, it may be cubic zirconia. Let's be real. It may be cubic zirconia. They tried to wrap up this therapy session with Gregg and Millie. Come to find out, Gregg has had his own trauma. So now he and Millie can trauma bond. But I don't know if they'll bond over it, because maybe Millie will feel like, dang, now I got to care about his feelings too, when I really just want to care about my own. Because I don't know. She did do a little bit better this week. I'm going to give her credit. She did a whole lot better than she did last week. A whole lot better. And now she's trying to encourage Gregg, because Gregg said, he's felt bad all these years. The first person he's ever admitted it to. And I would imagine it felt like a big weight off his shoulder. A big monkey's been taken off his back, that he's gone through this many years and never told this secret. So good for Gregg. Maybe it will be a release for him. But it really does explain a lot more why these two never really met in the same city of LA. The amount of baggage and trauma that the both of them are carrying seems quite heavy. It does seem quite heavy. And I know the therapist said, hey, I've got real good hope for the two of you. I'm glad she's optimistic. I'm not. I think that when each person has so much trauma, I think it's a little bit too much for the entire relationship. This relationship is too heavy. It's way too much. And I actually don't think that Millie has any enough capacity for Gregg's trauma. Somehow or another, I feel like Gregg could have capacity for Millie's, but I think vice versa, Millie, I don't think that they have it. I don't think that these two need to try to trauma bond nor heal together. I think they need to go their separate ways and heal on their own. Good work. I think they did good work here. I think some things have been released. But Gregg has already stated that he doesn't do well with all the screaming and yelling and anger that Millie brings to the table every single day. He said it every single day. Millie wants to solve problems with foul language. Talk about Millie. Y'all. Why did Millie's sister, Sophia, the ex-husband, drop in my comments last week? He dropped in my comments. I think his name is Kelvin. He dropped in my comments last week, if you want to see it, going in there, and he said that Millie and Sophia are just alike. They both don't like to take accountability. Now, you know what? Hey, we don't know. It's an ex-husband. He could be bitter. We don't know. But he's basically said he's known Millie all her life since she was 16 years old. And he said she's been like this since she was young. That part I understood, because it's what I said. I said then that the trauma Millie has, the attitude that Millie had, did not start when she got to LA and got into that sexual abuse situation with those men here in LA. I said it didn't. I said Millie has had trouble in her life prior to then, and that's what brought her to California, because she don't listen. And that ex-husband said they've been like this since they was young. Zero accountability. He may be just mad at that ex-wife. Sounds like he didn't want the divorce. And Sophia wanted it. So like I said before, it sounded like he might have had some controlling tendencies. So we can't believe everything he says, but I couldn't believe he dropped down in the comments and had a comment to make about Millie and Sophia. I thought that was interesting. Millie is trying to do something sweet. She said she's trying to plan this 90s theme birthday party. I knew I was old when she was planning a 90s theme. I was like, 90s? That's a throwback, a 90s? Shoot. I'm having a party over July 4th weekend, and my theme is a 70s party. I got to go way back to the 70s. She said she planning Jello shots and everything. I was like, shoot, Jello shots are out of style. I guess my parties are old, because we still be doing them too. But anyway, she's doing a 90s themed birthday party for Gregg. At least that's what she wanted to do before they played this game. And he didn't know that he didn't know what her birthday was, but he knew her favorite sexual position was missionary. Well, to be honest, Millie, if I had to guess your sexual position, I would have chosen missionary too. Because you already told me you don't want to do any work, so I would have chosen that position. So I don't know. But yeah, you could be mad at him for not knowing your birthday, but you can't really be mad at him for guessing your favorite sexual position, because I think a lot of people would have guessed that right, and we don't even really know you that well. But did they get anything right? Did they get anything right about, they got right when they met, which was 3 years ago. They didn't get right their hobbies, because Millie liked to travel and Gregg said hiking, and they didn't get right the spender and the saver. Millie says she's a spender. I could have guessed that too. I was gonna say, I don't even really need to hang out with Millie too much. I probably could have done better with some of these answers than Gregg. I think when Gregg sees Millie, he sees the ideal. He doesn't really see Millie for who she is. So a lot of the things when he mentioned what Millie liked to do, it really wasn't Millie. I think it was what he would hope Millie was. I think he's created a fantasy of who Millie is, and I think that's what happens online. But the reality of who Millie is completely different. And part of that's probably Millie's fault because of this whole online things. Because when you're dating online, you can create a fantasy. And when I hear a lot of the questions that Gregg came up with, I was like, I guess his is the fantasy answer and Millie's is the reality. Even when they talked about what's your biggest obstacle, Millie said communication. No, Gregg said communication and Millie said the laundry. The laundry? I guess here at the house during this time, maybe they had some kerfuffle over doing laundry. Because I'm like, when would laundry become an issue? Maybe while they're here now, the question is over doing the laundry, cleaning the bed sheets, changing the bed linen, washing clothes. Who's going to do this? But like I said, they knew what the favorite position was, which was missionary. They did get that right. But they didn't get the favorite birthday, which was June 21st. And they didn't get the one, what's your guilty pleasure? Millie said hers was candy. And Gregg says his was women. Lord have mercy. These two ain't going to make it. These two are not going to make it. One is Millie did not get enough to make her feel safe and secure with Gregg. And Millie really doesn't really want to have a real relationship. Millie wants an online relationship. I'm pretty convinced of that. And Gregg has seen enough of Millie with her outburst, her bad attitude, her foul language to know that he doesn't want that long term. So are they going to make it? My answer is going to be no. I really don't think any of these couples, you know what? The only couple that might come away from this together are Messy, Diamond, and Aaron. Because like I said, they're really the only couple on the same page. I might have a problem with them individually. But as a couple, shoot, they on the same doggone page. They probably going to be the only ones walking away together. And you know what? I can see Sandia and Chris walking away together. I can see it. Even though he was sitting on her lap in that video I did yesterday. He wanted to be the little spoon, not the big spoon. That conversation he had with his friend and kind of the things he's doing now are showing me that I do think Gregg really does. I do think Chris really will try to work at the relationship with Sandia. I really do. And he's made it clear to everybody that he ain't interested in Jody, which I never thought he was anyway, but I think it's very, very clear now. And the only thing that worries me is this friend he got. This friend. Let me tell you, you can tell a lot about a man by who he hangs around. You can. And this man walking around talking about men don't cheat, they exercise options. I guess he was tuned in to Kevin Samuels every single night, because that is a Kevin Samuels line, that men don't cheat, they exercise options. So he's walking around with the manosphere. So you can see how they're friends. And it seems like they probably agree on several things in their mentality. But Chris is trying to make a distinction with his friend and say, listen, me and my friend do think alike in a lot of things in terms of maybe masculinity, what a man should be, protector, provider, because that's what Chris says. But Chris is saying that, you know what, I actually am a relationship guy. He's saying he's a relationship guy. But what Chris has told us, though, is he's a relationship guy, but then he likes to go off for 2 to 3 weeks. So I think Sandia needs to get clarification around the relationship, the word relationship. I've said this before. Don't accept people's words. So Chris has told his friend, no, I'm a relationship guy. You may not be, but I am. What Sandia needs Chris to spell out is, what does relationship look like to you? I understand that it's not what your friend is saying, but what it looks like to you. Because when Chris was given a definition of a relationship at the very beginning of the season, his definition of a relationship was on 2 weeks, off 3 weeks, on 2 weeks, off 3 weeks. That's why he and Jody were so much on the same page, because that's what Jody likes. Jody likes to be together, but also be apart. She likes this distance between them. Think about it. Jody likes the appearance of a relationship, but she doesn't want the emotions that go along with the relationship. Even in this photo shoot she did with Aaron, you know, it was supposed to be a sexy photo shoot between the couples, right? You know, oozing sensuality coming off the camera screen. None of that. I felt none of it. I felt, even looking at the pictures, it didn't look sexual. It didn't look sensual. None of it. See, Jody likes to play the part like it is sexual or that it's intimacy, but Jody doesn't really like intimacy. That photo shoot was void of any intimacy. It was like two actors coming together and playing a role. It was acting. It was, the kiss was acting. Even in Jody's answer of her favorite sexual position, the standing 69, I said, oh, yep, Jody, you don't even have to look at his face. I said Jody's favorite position was the standing 69. And what I want to know is who is standing and who is holding the other person up, because typically it is the man standing and is the woman who's being held up in the standing 69. But Jody, I would get clarity. Aaron. Will you be the one standing, Jody, and then you're holding me up? Either way, she ain't got to look at your face. She ain't got to do nothing that look into my eyes. Nope. Standing 69. Jody, girl, go get some help. But we'll see. I can see Sandia and Chris making it through this. I hope so. There's a part of Chris that I do see, sort of this part of Chris, I do see this softer side of Chris. And I think a lot of what Chris said when he said that he was hurt before, I think that he was hurt, but I think he didn't realize what he was doing to hurt the woman. So he continually saw himself as the victim of this past relationship that he says explains why it's tough for him to get close to a woman, because he doesn't want to get hurt again. I think what Chris didn't realize was that when that woman hurt him, he had already probably done a lot of damage to that woman already. And what she did was retaliated. But what he is concentrated on is how much that woman hurt him. And I think if he gets in touch with the role he plays, maybe he'll feel more comfortable actually showing up for Sandia in this more softer place where he can be more tender with her. Because I do see that he may want to come out, but he's over here doing stuff that makes the woman feel insecure, because I think he's insecure. And so because he's so insecure, he wants her to be caught off guard and insecure and not feeling safe. So his own healing, Chris's real own healing, is going to come through him providing that space for a woman. I really do believe that. I think if he wants to feel safe and secure and all those things, he's thinking the woman has to do that for him first. I think he needs to do that for a woman first. And when he does that for the woman first, she in tune will also give him that assurance. So hopefully he will figure it out in time. I really do. Because Sandia and Chris, they share some things in common. They got a couple of things right. Their favorite hobby is working out. They said they like that. I think they said something about spending. They both like that. We know Chris likes to spend some money. So that worked well, which is also why I think Sandia is with Chris, because I think Sandia likes the money that Chris makes and the money that Chris spends. And I think she says, I can work through all these other things. I think that is what Sandia is playing the long game. That's what she's trying to do. She's trying to play the long game. She's trying to hang in there, help him work through these issues he's got on the long game. Well, I hope her bet is a good one. But until Chris learns to stop belittling and putting down Sandia so he can feel good, it ain't going to be a good relationship. That's why I told Sandia she needs to run. Until he can learn to do that, until he can demonstrate that, Sandia should not be making any high-level commitment to Chris. She should not. He needs to figure that out first before she commits to him, because he has not shown that he can do it. He has talked about he has the desire to be a certain kind of man, but he has not shown to be that man. So until he's shown to be that man, Sandia should not be giving him all this leeway and this leash. He needs to be able to do what he says, and he talks a good game, but he ain't able to put no meat to it. His feet don't match his talking. And Shay and Dirty Josh, they might have got a lot of answers right, but it just proves that their whole relationship is based on sex. Because most of the answers they got right was all based on sex. It's just sex. That boom, boom room sex. Like I said before, I said all Josh likes to do is have sex and eat. And now we know maybe having sex and eating is the same thing. And now we know the other part is get high. Get high, drunk, have sex, and eat. And like I said, Jody and Aaron, they ain't gonna make it. They really need to leave, because even after that non-sexy photo shoot, and all the effort that Aaron put together for that, and then they had that kiss, that dry kiss, and poor Aaron, poor little tender Aaron said it was one of the best kisses ever. And Jody said she didn't feel nothing. And she sat there and lied to his face when she said she liked it. And then they got back to the house, and then she had the most stank attitude around. She wasn't even grateful that he put it together. She didn't even come home and compliment him and say, look, everybody, we had a photo shoot. This is what Aaron did for me. She didn't have no kind words to say. She didn't brag about him to the other men, nothing. Just a stank attitude, and all she did say was heat me up some cheese pizza. I really don't like Jody. I don't like her. She's just mean and rude. See, I don't have no problem with her not liking Aaron sexually, but she's mean and rude. You mean to tell me I just planned you a whole day, a sexy photo shoot, went out the way to do all this stuff, and when we get back to the house, all you got to do is tell me, heat me up 2 pieces of a cheese pizza? Girl, get the F out of here. Get the F out of here. And just because you don't want to be with someone intimately, you don't like someone intimately, doesn't mean you got to treat them this way. It doesn't mean you have to treat them this. Jody is a mean person because she's been mean to a lot of people. She's been mean to Sandia when Sandia told her how she felt. She disregarded her feelings. She disregards Aaron's feelings. And you know what? I'm glad Chris called her out. I'm glad that Chris told little tender Aaron to his face. And in fact, it was one of the first times I think it sunk in to little tender Aaron who Jody was when Chris said it. Because what little tender Aaron realized was if Chris is saying it and Chris likes Jody, because he always says it, then this is really real. This is really real. Because I think little tender Aaron might have been disregarding it when other people were saying it because he felt like, well, nobody likes Jody. That's why they're saying it. But now here you have a person telling you who said, I actually like her, but she's wrong the way she treats you. It's foul the way she treats you. And I think he finally got it. I hope that it is little tender Aaron is the one that says, I'm leaving. He needs to pull a Brandon. Don't let Jody be the one that says, I'm leaving. Little tender Aaron, step up to the plate, pack your bags, and say, I'm out. But that's it, y'all. What do you think? I want to know what you think about everything I said. Who do you believe? Diamond, Alexis, or Dirty Josh? Who do you believe? And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.